like I prefer, I'm more of the interview kind of aspect. I like the idea
Yeah.
of getting to know the person and revealing like each other's experiences. Kind of, I take a lot of inspiration from the Joe Rogan experience, but I
Yeah.
like your take as well because it's that reliance.
Yeah.
You said it head on. I love my guests. I love the people that I interact with, but I know everybody's busy, and I'm in my late 20s. Everybody has their own lives, and I know that it's very difficult to get people in person and on
Yeah,
board,
exactly.
right? Like that flexibility. So when you have like a guest that's kind of with the same mindset, because I see them too, right? They want to be podcasters as well. Like they're just in it. Um, it's just a much more smoother experience, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think that um like Andrew especially, they weren't like both of them weren't like big on being in front of the camera originally.
Hmm.
Um, but I sort of told them that like this doesn't have to be, oh, I'm trying to get like famous instantly, you know what I mean? It's not something that
Yeah.
like I want to blow up. Obviously that would be a blessing, but it's not something I don't think that's just gonna happen overnight. You know what I mean? It's gonna take a lot of hard work. And I explained that, and because I was really the one who was um extremely forward, and I said that, listen, I'm gonna be on camera. Like this is before even starting, we agreed that this is like my podcast. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
this, it continues to be like it started as your sister's favorite. That was entirely mine. And even with their help, like this is still like entirely my podcast, but
Right.
they do support like a lot of things, right?
Right.
I do handle like the social medias and some other stuff with their input and their adjustments and things like that. But for the most part, like if there's anything that would have to um if there's anyone that takes responsibility, it's me, right? So like the
Right.
same thing like you said, like it depends, number one, on the type of conversation you like to have. If you're I feel like in an interview style such as this one, I feel like there's a lot more that you as as the interviewer learn about the guest,
Hmm.
right? So me and Andrew, we have conversations and we talk about trending topics, pop culture, all that kind of stuff, and
Right.
we get our own take. And I feel like we do like me and Andrew ourselves, we do a great job at like critically analyzing things that we can get our point across and make sure that we're talking correctly and we know what we're trying to say. But I feel like when you're speaking to someone that knows exactly what they've been doing, like let's say you interview a teacher and they've been teaching for 10 years, right? Like you get that level of experience that you wouldn't get with
Yeah.
someone as reliable, right? There is a trade off, but I feel like, especially with Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan was also an inspiration for myself. And I think that like the reason why he's so knowledgeable is because he absorbs all the information from his guest.
Yeah.
And I think that's like an entirely different like realm of podcasting. Like there's having fun podcasting. There's like the way me and like the banter that me and Andrew go through, and we talk about things, and then the interview style is really like the cream of like the knowledge based. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you really absorb what your what your guest specializes in, so to speak.
Yeah. What you're receiving on the other end, and
Yeah.
your audience not learned something, he learned something, and you could tell he has a lot of respect for the guest, even if he doesn't agree with them. And he's, man enough, he's genuine enough to admit like I'm wrong. Like there's many times I was listening to a podcast episode today. He got an article wrong, and he's like, okay, apologies for that, but I do remember reading something to that effect. And
Yeah.
that humility is very important, and that's something a lot of people are seeking for, especially in today's climate. I think it's so important that we have that transparency, and we, like I said from the beginning, like you want to believe that the person's human. You don't want to feel like there's a
Yeah.
robot asking questions and the person's just responding. That's something why I can't watch a lot of late night talk shows anymore,
Yeah.
because it's just very like, I know like Fallon and Corden, like they have their moments, but it's just so dry. Like it's the typical questions like, so what are you
Yeah.
doing? What are you up to? Oh, like why'd you buy that purse? It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like I want to get into the meat. I want to get into the juicy questions. And what I love about Rogan, I have to say, is it's something that I'm trying to emulate, where it's an interview where he asks the other person, he lets the person just talk. That's why it's so interesting, right? Because his guest is supposed to be more interesting, what they have to
Yeah.
say and their expertise in the field that they're specializing in, like you said. But at the end of the day, he'll make a side note or he'll go on a little rant, and he'll, like, someone will mention something about I don't know, the right wing people and how radical they are, and they'll just go on a huge rant about
Yeah,
Trump and why the U.S. needs to back up the Constitution. And you learn things from both ends, as much as he's trying to bring on an expert in that field to teach you, right? You learn something
yeah.
from him, and that's a credit to what you were saying about how he just absorbs that information and he kind of reflects it back.